Attention, everybody! The views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Axe Ministry, Axe Media Group, and/or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and/or nonprofits.
So, without any further ado,
Good morning! Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay.
All these years,
With your host, Matt and Jay. Hey, and Steve Mickey Mac McAllister is here on the show with us. As always, we love having you here, Steve.
thank you. I enjoy being here.
the valley is too wide.
Full of regrets was my heart, you see.
My heart, you see.
I
like
thought
you know the words.
this is how it would always be,
This is how
but that's all
it
changed.
should always be. 2, 3, but that's all changed. That's all changed. And you said this
All right.
captain.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name's Steve.
Glad to have everybody on board with us today.
You could actually do a sprinkler to that. That's all changed. You know?
That's all. This is a sprinkler.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna post up there instead of saying "say what you mean, mean what you say." I was gonna put "don't dance in the bathroom."
No, that's a good idea.
I caught myself dancing in the bath. Okay, so the music in there is pretty loud,
Yes, it is.
and I caught myself just kind of washing my hands. I'm all like dancing, a little shimmy sham, you know.
Somebody walked in. Somebody walked in the door.
It'd
Didn't
be
they?
funny because there's this guy that's always kind of grumpy whenever you see him in there, and you know, you just want to say, "Hey, how you doing, buddy?" Don't have that pooey attitude, you know. Anyways, but
Yeah. that could. Forget it.
what are we talking about?
Mean what you say, Matt.
Mean what you say what you mean, and we'll get into that here directly. And this is a very important lesson in life,
It really is.
definitely,
Yeah.
because it can save you a lot of trouble, a lot of anger, a lot of pent up aggression, resentment.
Resentment.
Resentment is not good.
Resentment can be a huge.
It can keep you. I mean, you can if you're not saying what you mean and mean what you say, it can lead you down a path that that is clearly lacks integrity. So people will recognize that there's something missing. That there's that there's a lack of integrity.
Yeah,
You know?
and we don't want lacks of integrity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And so your motive is important when you do when you know
right, you well,
are
you
communicating.
well, like for instance, okay, and we always go back to the sugar on the floor incident.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, you let me know that bothered you.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Though not at the appropriate time. I was still very bothered when I had said it, and it really hurt you by the way I approached it.
well, you act like I'm super sensitive or something.
No, but I was angry.
Yeah, and I don't like you being angry. I mean, I hate to have anybody angry.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say I don't like people being, you know, you feel this small because you don't know how to respond to that.
Well, and
I think I still struggle with this issue myself.
good morning, Marcia. Good morning, Darius Matlock, Dennis Everson. Who else we got here?
Michael Miller's on my watch party.
Linda Fleetwood,
Hmm.
Jenna,
Jana Girolamo.
yes, Girolamo.
Anyways, sorry,
And then Rachel, my better half.
Rachel O. Mickey Mac.
Yes, my better half. Good morning, sweetie.
Should I answer it?
Who is
Should.
it?
I don't know. I think it's a bill collector.
You're on the air.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna maybe mess with him. That would be funny though. Wouldn't it?
I wouldn't answer it unless you know the person.
Yeah, because then you could mess with them even more.
And there's
Linda Fleetwood says, "Good morning. It's going to
Good
be
morning.
a beautiful day. I'm going to my women's Bible study this morning, and then to Red's Giant Hamburg for lunch. God bless your day, guys."
Is that
Thank
the
you.
one I want to go to?
Yes.
I want to go there.
If you like greasy burgers,
I
that's
love them.
definitely. And
My
they're
heart, I'd probably have a heart
and they're
attack,
steak
but
burgers,
it'd be okay.
and they're better than Tacoma Sack.
Ooh.
I don't know who that
Then
is.
El Lago in
Steak and Shake.
Branson.
I don't
Branson
go out
West,
to eat.
It's Taco
I
Tuesday.
can't afford to.
Priscilla Kemp, good morning.
It's
I
taco-
am, I want to be able to.
We
afford
like your new
to, but-
profile pic. She said, "I voted." That's what
Priscilla?
she's.
I love it, Priscilla. Great job. And Susan Burrows said hello.
So today we're talking about saying what you mean and mean what you say. And the reason for that is, all right, so I've been in situations, probably more often than not, where I should say something about the way I'm feeling instead of just rolling with it, because people misunderstand. Like, for instance, there was a girl that I was hanging around with when we started the band. Well, after we started the band, and she just started assuming that we were boyfriend girlfriend. Instead of saying, "Whoa, we're not boyfriend girlfriend," I just kind of went along with it.
Right.
Then that turned into, "Oh, what is this woman doing? Oh man, no, I don't want to be her boyfriend." But then at that point, it's already, you feel like you're in too deep, and you don't want to say anything because you're afraid to hurt their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Sometimes when you say something to somebody, it's gonna hurt their feelings, no matter how nicely you say it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't say it,
Then
you're
it's
gonna end up
affect-
hurting their feelings.
I don't think being truthful though should depend on a person's feelings, and
But
I
it's gonna be
think I
fester.
understand. I do it myself. It's a common problem. I think that
That was
across the
weird.
board as humans, we want to relate and get along with each other. But sometimes what that drives us to do is to not be clear about what we want and not be clear about what we want to do, and so we may be led into things and into doing things that we don't want to do. And so then we're saying, okay, I want to do this. I'm going to do this with you. So now you're working on this thing with people, and your heart's not in it. Your heart is in the opposite direction. And that's
Right.
really where your work is going to be best. So here's everybody working towards this goal that you really don't want to work at. And so the more success they have at reaching that goal that you've stated and said, I'm going to be involved in this, I'm going to do this with you, the closer they get to this goal, the further you're getting away from what you really want to do. You know?
Right.
And so that's where the resentment comes in.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you start to undermine the success of the goal, succeeding at the goal, and succeeding and advancing in the direction that you've agreed to go. So it's important to say, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to commit my works to that goal. Because otherwise, you're working towards a goal that you are going to resent all the way. And the better people advance, and the better people do at the tasks, the better work people do in completing the tasks that work towards that goal, the more you will resent them. Because you want to go the other way. It's like, moving. If you have a spouse, and they don't want to move, but they say, okay, well, let's move. We'll just,
They're going to hold that against you.
well, as you're working towards that goal of moving and settling into a new place that they don't want to be, into a new house they don't want to be in, with their heart still back in the old place, in the old home, there's going to be a resentment there. Now, I'm not saying that as spouses that they shouldn't be able to move when one of them doesn't, but the one who doesn't needs to make it clear, I don't want to do this.
And then why?
I will, and here's why, and I will do it, but I want it to be clear that this is not what I want.
Or then there's got to be a happy medium somewhere.
Yeah, well, but then
Unless you're an angry psychic.
as you're working towards the goal together, you know that, and you're aware that this person has other goals and other desires. And then with that awareness, because that clarity has been brought to the situation, you can find ways to ease that transition for them and to, make this a something that in some way is going to satisfy their needs and their desires, and to fulfill their, need to have a purpose and to do something good in their life, to it's just important to say what you mean and mean what you say, because you end up working against the goal, against the objective, or resenting the advances towards it.
Isn't that part of Horton Hears a Who?
I don't know. Who is that?
Say what I mean, and I mean what I say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like in the Christian faith, in the Christian walk, we want to witness to people who are lost, right?
Yeah.
And we want them to find Jesus Christ and to love God and to worship God with their life, to accept the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, forgiveness of their sins, to repent.
And to worship Jesus
and
Christ.
to worship and honor God. That's what we want for the people around us who are not saved, right?
Right.
Well, and then but life's not that simple, and it's not only about that. We have the tasks at hand, the job we're doing at the work we're doing, or the, recreation that we're doing, or the service that we're doing. And the people that we're involved with in those places, once we get into it, there can be a way that we conduct ourselves that doesn't work towards our own goal. That's counterproductive to our goal. And it's important to realize, wait a minute, the way I'm talking right now is not going to lead to my ultimate objective and goal, because I'm not being clear about what I want. I don't want to argue and fight with you about everything, because I understand we disagree and we don't see eye to eye. So I accept that. You have different feelings and beliefs about this. I accept that. But arguing, fighting all the time about it is not heading towards that goal. What I want,
resolve it.
Right, it won't resolve it. It undermines your real true purpose.
And it escalates as it goes on.
Yeah,
If it's not taking care of, it escalates to the point then your heads explode.
Bye, Linda.
That's why a lot of families won't talk at the table about religion, politics,
talk at the table?
or what's the other one? Religion, politics, and sex. Because it's so easy to disagree, and it undermines the family. It undermines the relationships and all of the ways that we might be able to relate and get along. It brings up the most controversial and the deepest of our own held beliefs and goals, the things that really do guide us in our lives.
Well, yeah. And that almost got me on another subject about how a lot of churches have dropped the ball on sex.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt, growing up, I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody about it because it's gross and nasty and da 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 da. Well, if you do it within the realm of God's word, I don't even know if I said that phrase right, but it is not a nasty thing. It's beautiful in the eyes of the Lord.
Right.
Whenever you do it within the marriage,
it's beautiful.
it is beautiful.
Right.
It's something to rejoice about. That's two people becoming one, literally, for that period of time. Just saying. Anyways, good morning, Billy Burris. So that's.
I think that's still the same thing. That reminds me of the same issue of drugs. Look at what happens with
They
drugs.
lie to you about it, yeah.
Yeah, they lie
I
to
know,
you about
Jana.
it. They make the most extreme cases. They teach you that the most extreme cases of drug abuse are the average or the mean.
Yeah.
It's
saying
what most
it's
people-
going to happen.
Yes, which isn't true. They they tell you what it'll cause and what it'll do to you. And it's all the most extreme and worst things. They don't tell you anything about the positive things, about the good things about drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they might make you feel good. I'm talking about recreational use of drugs.
Yes.
They might make you feel really good.
Mm-hmm.
They
And
might
then whenever
make
you try them,
They might give you the ability to relate and enjoy the company of somebody else in a way that is both, fulfilling and meaningful for that short period of time.
Well, I told my children,
Sex can be better on drugs.
I
we
told my
know
children-
people understand that.
in
and
regards to
use it for that.
drugs, I told my children, it makes you feel good. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because then you don't want to.
It's a false
You don't
thing.
want to. Right. You don't want to hang out with yourself. So you're all the time trying to drown that self in alcohol or burn it up with weed and this, that, and the other, whatever your drug of choice is. But you really got to get to know that person without the drugs. Your own. Now, I'm not talking about you need to get to know him without drugs. Obviously, he's not on drugs, but still,
Thank goodness.
you got to get to know yourself. And you've helped me figure all this stuff out. Because whenever you do run out of drugs and you do run out of
Good
money,
morning, Julie.
because it's going to happen, you are stuck with yourself.
Yep.
That person. So you need to learn to love that person.
So if you start depending on that drug to
you need to
feel
learn to love
good,
God.
if
Yeah.
you start depending on that drug to feel good, when you can't get it, you're not going to feel good. And
Then-
that's the person you're stuck with.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Not to mention addiction.
and then sometimes whenever you don't have your drugs and you have to be alone with your old self, it's like being stuck in a room with an ex-girlfriend that where
Hates
the
you.
relationship ended very badly.
Yeah.
And,
or
so-
that
Nails
hates
on
you
a
for good
chalkboard.
reason.
Yeah.
Nails on the chalkboard.
Nails on a chalk.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then addiction comes in. Look, I spent 27 years of my life pursuing oblivion through alcohol and other means.
Lived
Just
his
oblivion.
life in a bottle.
And I never, okay, so I would reach oblivion and that was a success. It worked, okay? I didn't have to feel the horrible way I felt normally.
Yeah.
The problem with that was the horrible way I felt when I was sober, the horrible me, what I couldn't stand to feel and think
Exactly,
about.
Jana.
Those things were all things that had solutions and that could be brought to conclusions
Morning, Mike
that would be
Member.
resolved in my life, that my life, when I felt normal without being high, could feel good. My life right now, I'm not high on drugs, and I feel good.
We said solutions.
It's normal life. I feel bad sometimes, and I feel good sometimes.
Stop
But
easy.
27 years of my life now is gone.
Well, praise
I
God.
hurt a lot of people along the way.
Yeah.
I broke apart my own home. And yeah, you can say that it takes two. But when I account for only my wrongs in the relationships in my life, that's enough.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter
Sometimes it's the
if
cause.
it takes two. If one's enough, it doesn't matter if it takes two, though it does. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You've done enough damage already.
There's two sides to every story.
Yeah.
What were you saying about what solution?
Well, there's solutions in your life, like facing the facts
And
about a natural solution.
natural solutions.
That was a good
Hey,
segue.
everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you guys are here. Sorry, I had to steal that segue from you, Jay. Today's show is brought to you by Natural Solutions Store.bz. That's
Dot
right.
BZ.
Natural Solutions Store.
.bz.
Jay made it a point to not say it because he likes to do it just out of nowhere.
Yeah. I just out of
Hashtag
nowhere, it's kind of
and hashtag.
And then there's obsession.
Obsession, yes.
Yeah.
So,
You guys just do your thing. I'm so
All-
proud of you guys. I'm amazed at the creativity I see happening around here.
all
Hey,
kidding
don't worry.
aside, look, if you got pain, if you got a pain in the rear,
Yes, and there are
pain in the
several.
elbow, pain in the knees, pain in the hand, pain in the head, pain, in the shoulder,
neck.
pain in the chin, pain in the.
If you're in
We could
pain,
we could just go all day long explaining these stuff.
Pain in the foot.
If you've tried everything else, if ibuprofen doesn't work, Tylenol doesn't work, don't overtake that stuff because it kills your kidneys and your liver.
Amen.
Right? Don't drink yourself into oblivion to try and
No.
get away from pain because then smoking weed a lot of times, for me, it used to enhance the
It
pain.
just the brain
Yeah,
cells
it does
just
mean-
It
shrink.
made you focus on it.
did me.
But there is a product derived from the marijuana plant that works. It's a CBD capsule. Comes in 10, 25, and 50 milligram doses. This stuff works, folks. It works.
Don't take the highest dose first.
No, don't take the highest dose first. The highest dose. Anyways, Yeah, so another thing that they have on there, they have Super Hemp Balm, and now they have hemp oil,
Ooh.
which works as works good too. You got a little
All
you got a pain in
right.
the elbow. Yeah, you're right there under the weenus. You know, you
Be
just
careful what you say.
rub a little bit of that on your elbow, and 10 minutes later, better. If you got knuckles and they're in pain, just rub a little bit on your knuckles, and 10 minutes later, it feels better.
Aw.
Anyways, if this applies to you, you know what you can do.
Yes.
Go on Natural Solutions Store
.bz.
and pick up some hemp products today. Back to you guys.
All right.
Easy.
.bz.
Let's get that busy.
DBZ. Susan has said the terrific three.
What?
We're the terrific three.
BZ.
Rachel O'Mickey Mac.
Yeah.
That even
Crimper.
matched, eh?
Mike
That
Crimper, you
matched.
need to remind me
That
when we're
rhymed.
supposed to meet. I'm going to talk to him about maybe starting up some of that dietary program that he's got there. We're going to have a meeting about it, and
That's a great
whenever
program,
it happens,
by
we
the
can
way.
keep you up to date on it. Something about I think they might have a scholarship program that.
Yeah,
might-
you know, Mike, we need to get back together, but the program that he talks about is awesome.
Yeah, I do believe you have to be in a certain financial position where you can afford to be on it,
Exactly.
because it
the,
is
the big program, yes.
it is really replacing your. I think for somebody in my financial situation,
Goodwin?
it would have to replace my
Welcome to the show.
subscriptions. It would have to eliminate my need to see the doctor. It would have to replace my budget for my food. So all of those things would have to add up to a successful engagement in the program, which I wouldn't have enough.
Well, there might be. I mean, I think. I mean, I can't wait to. I mean, if I get started on, that'd be great. If I can do that and be successful at it.
Yeah.
Hello, Craig Hubbard.
I think it's
Greg,
part of
welcome
what
to
we're
the show.
talking about is saying what you mean and meaning what you say. Making good health a goal means considering your life completely and wholly.
Yeah.
You have to consider
morning,
all of
Priscilla.
what's
Thank
going
you.
on and then work towards that goal. And if your heart's not completely in it, you're working towards something that you'll end up resenting and
Right.
undermining. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to, if you really want that more than anything else, you have to decide for yourself: am I being honest
Isn't that
with myself
considered
about
bearing
this?
false witness? If you
I
don't
think
mean what you say and you don't say
saying
what you mean,
saw something that you didn't
It can be, yeah.
in an accusatory way, I think is bearing false.
See,
witness.
I had a problem with my dad when it came to verbalization and trying to mean what I say, and he was smart enough to know what I was trying to say, but he'd turn it around and make it sound like I didn't know what I was saying and I didn't make any sense.
that's called gaslighting, right, Jay? Gaslighting.
in a
I've
sense,
never
I'm not
heard
sure
of it
exactly.
put that way, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, gaslighting.
And
yeah,
that's
making
why
somebody
I always
feel
had
crazy.
a hard time communicating with him, because it was like when I was frustrated with him on something that I might have done that I was trying to I wasn't trying to get out of trouble. I was just trying to explain and he goes, "Why do you always have to explain to me? I know what you mean." And, well, what do I mean? And it would be something completely different. No, that's not what I meant. Well, that's what it meant to me. See, he
Yeah,
admitted
yeah,
that
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
Well, I
it
think, yeah, but now that is where it's important to say, look, it doesn't matter what it meant to you. What matters is what I intended to say to you.
Right.
So if it meant something else,
Jim.
you misunderstood.
Yeah.
Here, I was trying to say this.
I know
That's
you're
what I
kidding.
meant to say. And if that's not what you got out of it, you got it wrong.
Right.
I'm not wrong. You got it wrong.
Hee-haw!
But it's
Hee-haw!
important to say that. It is important to say that and to
Yeah.
make it clear that, look, you've misunderstood me and you're not going to blame me for your not understanding what I'm trying to say or
Right.
understanding it incorrectly. And then trying to clear it up and trying to make it clear.
Priscilla Kim
That's-
says double-minded.
Understanding where you missed the mark in
And
expressing
that's
yourself.
what
and-
frustrated me, was trying to explain, well, no, that's not what I meant. Well, then what did you mean? And then I would go on and on and on, and he just would tear into it. And my mom would just say, you know what, you might as well stop, because it's not going to get any better.
yeah.
So yeah, say what you mean what you say. But don't say anything mean if you can avoid it. Don't be
Amen.
mean.
Yeah,
Don't be mean, yeah.
Don't be mean. Yeah.
Don't be
Whatever you
mean.
say in love. Whatever you do in love.
There's constructive love, or constructive criticism, and then there's destructive criticism.
That's just like Dad was talking about procrastination. And he said, my procrastination that I deal with is not constructive procrastination. Constructive procrastination, Dad says, is where you stop and you put something off to figure out the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember one time Barney, our buddy, drummer Barney, said, and I think he was trying to make a point. You know what you guys need to talk about on your show tomorrow? What's that, Barney? About maybe, putting things off and stuff like that. And he was, he was serious about it, but I think he was also trying to make it a point to say, you procrastinate, Matt, and I'm not liking it.
It's affecting me.
That,
So
see,
the next-
there you go.
So the next day we started talking about it. I said, Barney wanted me to talk about procrastinating and stuff and about not really doing things with,
Putting things
putting
off.
things off and stuff like that.
But we're going to wait till tomorrow.
I said, yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. And then that's literally the last thing we said about it that day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Procrastinated.
See what
Procrastinators
happens.
of the world unite tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's a good. Oh, what a title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're
I'll
talking
just
about.
wait for a couple days on that.
Yeah. That's it.
Also, your purpose can your
We'll make
motive.
T-shirts later.
Your motive can make it okay to do something you're not necessarily all in for and wanting to do. Like the actual act is not what you want or like,
Right.
but doing it to help somebody can be a blessing and a good thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think see, like I do it a lot too. I try to be so positive about negative things sometimes that, when it comes to helping somebody, that the way I state it is false. Like I'll clean.
Morning, Stephanie Brown.
So I don't mind cleaning the bathrooms every time because my coworker, who's the only other person who could do it, hates to do it.
Right.
It's not that I like or love to clean the bathrooms because I don't. It's disgusting.
Who likes or loves cleaning
I'd
bathrooms?
rather be
My sister-
outside
Do
sweeping
any of
the
you
parking
like
lot.
to clean the bathrooms?
Rachel doesn't.
I'd rather be outside sweeping the parking lot. But because I know that he really loathes it, I say I'll do it. Well, my tendency though is to go in a positive direction and convince myself that I like it or want to, or my wanting to do it so he doesn't have to is communicated in a way that makes everybody think I want to or I like to do it. That's what I prefer to do. It's not. It's the last thing on my list,
Right.
except for doing the trash because it's too heavy for my back.
My ADD's kicking in right now.
And then there's also, there's other things that I do. Like
I do
I
too
always
stuff.
at this one busy register. Well, I don't always want to be at that one busy register. But what I do know is that most everybody else hates to be at that register. So I try to be positive, and sometimes my communication about that is that I want that register. That's mine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there are ways that communication, even though you're trying to be helpful, you're trying to be kind, you can be misunderstood in a way that becomes an expectation of you, and people are assuming you have a feeling about doing that you don't really have.
Right.
And then you can be taken for granted for it. So it is important to be clear. And sometimes it's okay not to be clear, but when people start to get the wrong idea about why you're doing what you're doing, it's important to explain it and point it out.
Sorry.
Well, no, I don't love this and want this, but you hate it, so I will do it. And I want to do it because you hate it. It's important to make that clear. Not only that, but it also teaches people sacrifice.
Sorry.
Sacrifice always comes with some pain, doesn't it?
And sometimes it's okay not to be clear.
Exactly.
You can say that again.
did.
That was just a bad, that could be taken out of context. I feel like I'm on some media show, that's taking my stuff, chopping up
Matt
you know what I mean?
Pearson
You can.
joined.
Yeah.
Morning, Matt.
Sometimes it's okay not to be clear.
Yeah.
What I mean is, you don't always have to be clear about your intentions. But
Right.
when people are assuming your intentions and their assumptions are false, it's important to communicate the truth.
Yeah, Stephanie just said it's called duty.
Yes.
It's your duty. We got to remember, by the way, Stephanie and Rachel, they lost their dad, and, of course, Not lately, but he's in heaven now. But
Is that Bob Monday
it's
watching this?
yes,
Hey, Bob.
I know Bob.
Well, Barney, one of my best friends and drummer, knows Bob Monday very well.
He's a great guy. He really is.
I don't even know who he is.
He's a fellow musician, but he's a Branson guy.
He's the voice of the Ozarks.
The voice of the Ozarks.
Welcome to the morning drive.
But anyway, just remember Stephanie and Rachel.
Karen Smith. Good
yeah,
to see you.
She's one of my. I grew up with her at church.
Crack that neck, Matt, Janice says.
Tell
When
us. So say good morning if you can. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe.
She says, ooh,
share
you
it.
swore you said sex.
I know. Tomorrow, she also
Jessica
said.
Thomas, welcome.
She also said tomorrow should be. It is what it is. The title. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Darius Matlock says, hey, it may be for the Lord, just like picking up the trash in the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
servanthood
Just
type
like
of.
Paul was falsely accused of things, so yeah.
You're actually doing a service. You're doing a duty, but it's a servant. You got a servant's heart. You're willing to serve that person because they're willing not to do it, but you're willing to do it. So that's where the servant heart comes in.
Yeah.
You have a servant's heart.
Yeah, my desire sometimes to do something I don't want to do is something that brings me more joy than not doing it because it's going to help somebody,
Right.
or give somebody else an opportunity or help somebody not have to do something that they really hate doing.
Yeah, and like let's say your friend says, "Hey, can you help me move?" Or, "Hey, do you feel like helping me move?" And you say, "Oh yeah." But then you're like, "No, I'm not talking about when you moved. I really
You're,
No, I
you're
get it.
speaking in general purpose.
I totally get what you're saying.
You know what I
and
mean?
I'm following.
And there's a lot of other if you don't really mean it,
It's a chore and a task, and it's very
It is.
inconvenient. It takes time and an effort and energy
It
and
does.
expense to help somebody move.
It
but
does.
but there's I picked
You
a
don't do
terrible
it because
thing.
you want to pack somebody's
Yeah.
boxes into a truck and drive all over the place and
Pizza?
spend a bunch of money while you're out.
Well,
and-
yeah, that's what people. Yeah, people. That's what you pay your people with is pizza and beer. Back in the day, it was all right. Well, I'll buy a case of beer and a couple of pizzas. You guys come help me move.
Yeah.
And that's like working for peanuts and beer. you know?
Or you say, hey, you know what? Can you come over and help us?
But you know what?
Move or do something, and they offer to buy lunch for them.
And then
They show up for lunch, and then afterwards it's like they're gone.
But in doing so, we had a great time. We had good camaraderie. We were wore out completely, absolutely just wore out. But you know what? Blessed.
Blessed because it's a sacrifice to help somebody,
It's a
Exactly.
service.
and it's worth it.
And
Yes, it
who
is.
doesn't want to help their friends out? Me personally, I'm kind of lazy, so it's hard to get me out of bed when
well,
I'm
then
off
I'm not
work.
going to ask you to help me move.
But that's part of our testimonies as loving and kind people, and not just Christian, but people who help each other. That's a kind and loving thing. It's an example of what Jesus Christ wants us to do. And
Come on, people now.
you know what I mean? But
on your brother.
here's how that can go really wrong. I
There's
can
your
go
song,
help
Jana.
you move, have a positive attitude, work really hard, do everything I can to make your move as easy on you as possible. And then in the end, you tell 5 of your friends who are moving, Jay loves to help people move.
Right. I
Well,
would
Jay
never do
doesn't
that.
love to help people move. And now I've got people wanting me to help them move.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So
I don't
that's
think
what I mean.
anybody in their right mind loves to move.
Good
Right.
point, Michael.
Right. So that's what I mean about miscommunication and how it's important to say what you mean and mean what you say, and being clear about your intentions and doing something and your motives. My motive for doing something may not be that I love to do it. It may be that I love you.
Yeah. Go ahead. What did Michael say?
Michael said, mean what you say builds trust, respect, and honors others. It's an action of love which shows God's love from us to others.
Yep.
Exactly, Michael.
And
Yeah.
don't be mean.
Yeah, Michael, don't be mean.
Say what you mean what you say, and don't be mean when you do it.
Right.
Yep.
Everything you do in love. If you're gonna mow somebody's yard, which I'm okay with mowing people's, like, as long as I can use a rider.
But if I went out and said, "Hey, Matt loves to mow," and then on your day off, people were calling you, "Hey, can you come mow my field? Mow my field. Mow
Yeah,
my field."
$150. No, I don't know.
You see what I mean, though? So
That's a discount.
so understanding that you have no time to be mowing everybody's lawn or energy. Anyway, those
You
are, but those are ways we can
That's a good
end up
point.
in a place that we're not happy.
Right.
We are resentful. And, when I'm moving the 5th person in a month because the word's out that I love to help people move when I don't because I did something with a good, cheerful
So do you hear that,
attitude.
folks? He loves to help people move.
So you heard that. So call Jay
don't.
and ask him to.
I hate moving. I have been closer to
And
a heart
that
attack in
is a
this move than
statement.
I've ever been in my life.
Oh yeah, it's rough, and it
You
was
know?
cold, rainy.
The stress.
Not knowing where all my stuff is.
Not knowing.
Not
yeah,
knowing.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
what box it's in.
Where's it at?
Yeah.
Mystery. It's a mystery box.
Now I know some stuff went to storage that was supposed to go to my apartment.
Ah, there it
Uh-oh.
is over there.
See, there it is.
That's something I got to do is find a place for all that stuff in my, in my storage because it's
Where
so
can you put
expensive.
it?
We're still
Yeah.
trying to find stuff that
Exactly.
we know that's either in storage or and it is. It's a mystery.
how-
Oh, what's really cool
And how
though,
can I get people with cheerful attitudes to help me bring it up a massive flight of stairs? That, and some of
The cool thing about it is, though, you
Most
open
of
up a
it's really
box.
heavy.
It's like there's a big thing going on nowadays, and it's all these different mystery boxes you pay for, a monthly subscription box, where the box comes, you don't know what you're gonna get. You open it up, and it's got all this cool stuff in it. Usually, it's not as cool as what they say it is
Yeah,
going
true.
to be. They're like,
Well,
oh
they're doing
man,
it
you
for
got
a
this
profit.
Rolex for
you're not getting your money's
$1,000
worth.
Rolex.
You're not giving them. You're not giving them. You're not getting your money's worth.
No,
They're getting your money.
exactly.
That's the point.
See, you're not getting your money's worth, but they're getting your money.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out. I was just. Okay, so, we will start talking about the coronavirus. Major daily updates. We are moving into yellow threat zone.
Uh-oh.
This affects everything in life, from church to a ball game to shopping. We need to be a source of info and encouragement. Okay, so starting tomorrow, I will update us on what's going on with the
Because
coronavirus.
there are several deaths now in Washington State. There's like 6 people gone that
Yeah.
died.
And this was an outbreak, and I guess China tried to cover it up.
6 people in Washington State died.
Yes.
So that's escalated since the day before yesterday.
Yeah, I found that out yesterday. I was like, whoa. So, the coronavirus, some people said the basic thing you need to do is just remember to wash your hands. Well, it's more than just washing your hands,
Yeah, the president did say, and so healthy people don't need to be afraid. You will recover from this.
How
So
do
it
you
made me think that maybe it's going to spread a lot more than we expected.
and it's spelled like Corona, the
What
beer,
they-
right?
Corona, Corona.
Okay, so let's do some updates here.
Yeah.
U.S. preps for a pandemic as coronavirus 19 claims 6 lives in Washington State. At least 2 New York high schools closed after suspected coronavirus.
New York.
Okay, let's do
Where was that?
York.
advisory information. Okay, so, or it's being called COVID or COVID-19 advice for the public. All right, so one of the things it's talking about is when to use a mask. All right, so if you're healthy, you only need to wear a mask if you are taking care of a person with suspected coronavirus. Wear a mask if you are coughing or sneezing. Masks are effective only when used in combination with frequent hand cleaning and with alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. If you wear a mask, you must know how to use it and dispose of it properly. Before putting on the mask, clean your hands with alcohol-based hand rub, soap or water. Cover mouth and nose with the mask and make sure that there are no gaps between your face and the mask. Avoid touching the mask while using it. If you do, clean your hands with alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. Replace the mask with the new one as soon as it is damp. And do not reuse single-use masks. To remove the mask, remove it from behind. Do not touch the front of the mask. Discard immediately and in a closed bin. Clean hands with alcohol-based hand rub and or soap and water. So, and you can look at this. I never even thought about don't touch the front of the mask to take it off because that's where all the goopity goop is.
Yes.
So let's go back here.
And who is this issued by?
World Health Organization.
Yeah. Susan Burrows said Kroger is limiting supplies due to the coronavirus. I'm sure she's talking about the masks, maybe.
Stay aware of the latest information on the COVID outbreak, available on the WHO website and through your national and local public health authority. It is still affecting mostly people in China, with some outbreaks in other countries. Most people who become infected experience mild illness and recover, but it can be more severe for others. Take care of your health and protect others by doing the following. Wash your hands frequently. Why?
Kurt Hunter.
Washing your hands with soap and water or using alcohol-based hand rub kills viruses that may be on your hands. Maintain social distancing, which means don't be a space invader. Maintain at least 1 meter or 3 feet distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Don't go around going, like getting right in their face as they're coughing. Oh, are you getting sick? Don't do that. Why? When someone coughs or sneezes, they spray small liquid droplets from their nose and mouth, which may contain the virus. If you are too close, you can breathe in the droplets, including the COVID-19 virus, if the person coughing has the disease.
That's why a lot of people are coughing into their arm. If you're going to cough or sneeze,
always
do it right here. You don't. You can either that or a Kleenex.
Avoid touching eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice respiratory hygiene. We just talked about that with the.
I don't cough into my sleeve or anything when I'm outside, because then it gets on your clothes when that's not necessary.
Yeah, then you have to take your clothes off and make sure you wash it.
All right, so let's see what the New York Times has to say about this. Coronavirus updates after gaps in U.S. testing draw criticism. Officials ramp up screening.
So it's all political. Has nothing to do with
there's
the
a political. There's
a
something
whole
political about it.
I heard somebody blamed it on the president.
Come on, that's a little ridiculous.
You know what I got to say about that?
Exactly.
Darius Matlock says 15. Oh, and the Lord will take away from you all sicknesses and none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which you knew, will he inflict on you. But he will lay them on all who hate you. That's in Deuteronomy 7:15, English Standard Version. If you want to read these updates in Chinese, you can. Although I would recommend if you can't read Chinese, don't try.
Exactly.
Here's what you need to know. Governments seek to cushion social and economic impact of the virus. Second case in New York raises prospect of virus spreading locally. 6 people have died in the U.S., including residents of a nursing care facility. As criticism mounts, the Trump administration pledges to speed up testing. British government announces plans for worst case scenario. The virus continuing to spread to more countries on Tuesday, and epidemics in Iran, Italy, and South Korea showing no signs of slowing. Governments worked to devise plans to combat the pathogen without causing widespread social disruption and economic upheaval. In the United States, where there are now more than 100 confirmed cases in 15 states and 6 deaths linked to the virus, the Trump administration sought to project an image of control even as concerns emerged about early missteps. Okay, so I think they're going to be getting political here, including defective diagnostic kits and highly restrictive rules for administering the test, both of which may have contributed to the early spread of the virus. Okay, so I don't even want to get started on that kind of, it's hard to find stuff. I guess you can. I'm looking for the local health department.
Our cousin Robert in Hawaii said that Costco and Sam's Club sold out of toilet paper and the shelves are empty.
Oh no, that's crappy.
Yeah, that's my cousin as well, Susan Bros. So yeah, he's like, they're empty. I mean, it's almost like.
But nothing about symptoms. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say.
6 coronavirus deaths in the U.S. China cases slow. Live updates.
What were the symptoms that they had developed that led to death? I mean, why aren't they listing those? I guess they don't want to cause people with what's that
panic,
right?
Or
exactly.
or for people to start to develop psychological symptoms. You know.
Yeah.
I've got a cough. Oh no, I've got.
Let's see what symptoms are. Now I've watched the actual government. So let's see what that is. Update USA. So the coronavirus preps for a pandemic as COVID-19 claims 6 lives in Washington. All right, so
COVID, is that corona?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they calling it a different thing?
Coronavirus. They're shortening it. Shortening it.
Shortening.
All right, so coronavirus.
Yeah, but shortening it and making it unrecognizable from what it is.
COVID-19 might be a
term.
Not a code,
symptoms
but it might
of
be
the
medical.
coronavirus or the COVID-19. I think the 19 is 2019.
I think that's a medical.
Reported illnesses have ranged from mild symptoms to severe illness and death for confirmed coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 cases. Symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure, including fever, cough, and shortness of breath. Call your healthcare professional if you develop symptoms and have been in close contact with a person known to have COVID-19, or if you have recently traveled from your area with widespread or ongoing community spread of the COVID-19. This is based on what you've seen previously as the incubation period of MERS-CoV viruses. I don't know what that is.
Does it say what the incubation period is?
Patients with COVID-19 have reportedly had mild to severe respiratory illness, and symptoms can include fever, cough, and shortness of breath.
I think everybody's gone from the cruises. You know, they were held for like 2 weeks on a cruise line because of the coronavirus. I think that's all done, and I think everybody's off those ships now.
I would hate to be cleaning that ship.
Now,
yeah.
Travelers from China arriving in the United States says resource for the ships, guidance for ships, cruise ships, Travel Alaska, search COVID-19 risk assessment by country. So we'll be continuing to get updates on that. Because there's even maps and stuff. So as of right now, 6 people dead in Washington.
Right.
That's Washington State, correct?
Right, correct.
Good morning, Larry Melton.
Ooh,
Larry,
Melton.
I sent you a message, and it seems like you haven't gotten it. I sent it a couple days ago. Please look at it and respond to me.
10-4.
It's been a long time since I've heard.
It's time for us to
Larry
get out of
Melton.
here.
Yep, it's that time. What's up next?
What's up next is something to celebrate.
Something to celebrate
with Tom and Amber.
Wherever they're probably out in the
good show.
Hallway, yeah.
Hallway.
It's a great show.
So anyways, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the morning drive today. Be sure and tune in next for something to celebrate with Tom and Amber. See what kind of food she's got for us today. Maybe some good sandwiches again.
Yum.
Anyways, Like I said, we'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
My name is Steve.
and this has been
The Morning Drive.
.bz.